Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of Grateful Grieving, the podcast. I'm Betsy Furler, and this is my friend Katherine
Hello.
Green
You,
Dane.
you probably don't have to include. Isn't that funny? Because I think of you always as with your maiden name, and you think of me with
Right.
my maiden name.
That's
But
why that's why I stumbled on it because I'm like, do I really need to add all these names in here? Because probably everyone in the world knows you as Catherine Dane,
right,
right?
right,
Except for our college friends.
right.
So
College
so
and high
here we
school,
are.
yes. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
So here we are again. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and please also follow us on Instagram at Grateful Grieving. So we are going to continue kind of our conversation from episode 3 on getting rid of stuff and how that makes us feel.
Well, it makes me feel good generally, unless I have to go back and rebuy something that I donated because I didn't actually want to get rid of it. I think that has nothing to do with grief. That has to do with the moment I was in and I said, let me get rid of that. And then, oops, I shouldn't have done that. So I think what I try to do now is I get stuff in the house and I move it to the garage and then I let it sit there for a while.
Yes, I do
And
that too. I'll box it up.
yes, or like all of us do, we put it in the back of the car, either in the trunk or the back of the SUV, and we drive around with it for months upon time. And then it's like, okay, it's okay to get rid of this now. Um,
Yeah, I don't have that luxury.
no, your trunk only holds one body.
Yeah.
Mine will hold, my back will hold probably 4 or 5 bodies.
Yeah, I
Um,
drive a 2002 Camaro Z28 for the audience who doesn't
it
know
was,
that. And I went to Goodwill today actually, and I got fit in that little car a mid-sized suitcase that my friend Linda had come down here with, and then she didn't the handle broke, and so she left it. I actually had two visitors
hold
in a
on,
row whose
hold on,
suitcases broke.
hold on. The handle broke and you still gave it to Goodwill?
It did it is replay. It's fixable. She just didn't want to
Okay,
fix it.
okay,
She was like, I'm no, I'm done because I said I can fix that handle for you.
okay,
And she
okay.
goes, no, I've had this suitcase for, however long. I need a new suitcase. So anyway, so that had been at my house since April when she came to visit. It's
Right.
December when we're recording. But I put that suitcase and like six kitchen, I don't know, what are
Bags,
those, 10 gallon,
trash
whatever those
bags.
are, trash bags, in my little car. And I
Nice.
got it all in one trip.
And you didn't bottom
Um,
out anywhere with all the extra weight?
no, it's only about a mile from my
Just
house though.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
And the Goodwill guy was like, "Oh my goodness, this you have a classic Camaro." I'm like, "I know, I do, right? I'm so cool." It's great to drive a muscle car, except when you're trying to take stuff to Goodwill. So when I was going through stuff to get rid of it, um, one of the things that I was surprised that sparked a little grief in me or feeling memories or whatever was some pajamas
Yeah,
that no longer fit me, but I'd had them when Henry was alive. And
right.
I've got to get rid of these pajamas. Somebody else needs to be wearing these pajamas. They're in great shape. They're super cute, and they don't fit me.
Right.
Um, and I thought, wow, this is something it's not Henry's, right? It was
Right.
my pajamas, but it,
That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think those are the kind of things that I didn't expect that kind of thing.
Right.
I think there are lots of things about grief that we don't expect until we're living it.
Right. I was at a, a celebration of life for somebody this summer that I didn't know, but I knew the other people involved. So I was helping out with the event since I wasn't emotionally attached to it. And I was able to just help everybody else. And the day before the event, they brought in all the photographs of him and put them up. And when I saw them, like they were hunting and fishing pictures, and they reminded me, and he slightly reminded me of Daniel. He had that, all the pictures when you take with an animal and you're holding up the horns, they all look the
Yeah.
same. And I've seen lots of hunting pictures that in the last few handful of years that have not bothered me. But I think because I was a little more emotionally close to this one, seeing all of those pictures was really tough. And
Hmm.
I ended up, because that event wasn't about me, I helped and did all my part, but then I had to leave because I was pretty emotional. And I hadn't, if I can mentally prepare myself, then I'll be okay. But that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, and later the parents of the guy who passed away, his mom had said, "Hey, where were you? I didn't see you." And I said, "I'm so sorry. I was not handling it well, and I didn't want to. I
Hmm.
didn't want to. I love to cause a scene when it's appropriate, but I certainly don't want to cause a scene when that had nothing to do with me, and I didn't want attention taken away from everybody else to try and console me because pictures triggered in me something from years before. So that was a little tough, but I did the right thing and moved out. And then later was like, okay, I'm fine now, but it was just tough.
One of the things that really was such a huge trigger for me was the hospital. So Henry
Yeah, I
was in the
bet.
hospital a ton, in a couple of different hospitals. Well, a lot of different hospitals, but two that were kind of the primary hospitals. And I can't remember how long after his death, but my mother had to be hospitalized, and her doctors were affiliated with one of the hospitals that Henry went to. And I could barely stand being in
Right.
that hospital. All hospitals are a little hard for me now, but
Right.
that hospital, the one that Henry went to, I couldn't do it. And I was like, Mom, we got to change your doctors. So they're
Wow.
so they have privileges at an in a hospital system here that Henry never was a part of. Still
Wow.
hard for me to be in the hospital, but it's not nearly as hard. It was unbearable at the
And
hospital that Henry went to. And I'm
because it
usually not
wasn't,
like that.
but okay, but think about the fact that that wasn't like a week or two in a hospital with a sick child. His
Right.
whole life was in and out of hospitals. And
It was kind of where he
it,
halfway lived. Yeah.
yes, you were always in there, and you were such a great advocate for him, and you had the relationship and the knowledge that you had about him and how you fought for him. Um, that would be very triggering.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was expected it to be a little triggering, and it was just 100 times what I thought it was going to be.
And if you think about it, you and I are both people who, like, if I have an obstacle, now I'll bury my head in the sand sometimes, but eventually I'm gonna put my big girl panties on and we're gonna deal with it, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. It doesn't matter if I feel a mess doing it. We're still gonna push through it. But every once in a while, there's something that hits us, where we have to say, okay, I cannot move forward with this. This is something I absolutely cannot handle. And
Right.
that was one for you, for sure.
And then back to the funerals of other people. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that is another thing that was so hard for me at the beginning,
right,
after, so hard for me. And I really haven't been to that many funerals in my life. You know, I hadn't in the past.
right,
Um, and then all of a sudden it's like there are all these funerals I need to go to. And going to a funeral now is a very different thing for me.
right,
Especially the service itself. And then I think I feel maybe too strongly for some people that then the repass, or whatever you call it in your culture, the event after the service,
right.
should be a celebration of their life,
I
in
agree.
my mind, right?
For us,
And
yes, yes,
right. right. And so I see it with that viewpoint, and it's not always that to other people.
Right. And right. So, and I think we have to honor and give grace to everybody how they do it their way.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and that's hard for some people. I know when my mother, when her health was failing and we knew that her body at some point was going to give out. She had a lot of issues. And she sat us down. I have three sisters. And she sat us down and had a conversation with us about, okay, this is going to be what I want done. And she had the little
Mm-hmm.
booklet and I just broke down crying. Like, I'm like, we have to talk about you dying. I don't like this at all. And, and her ideas, like to me, we have to honor what she wanted. I have to honor what Daniel wanted. Like I knew that and I held strong with that. Not everybody wants to honor that, not that they don't want to honor that person, but sometimes people take their own things that they wanted to have happen for that person. And I'm not that way at all. I don't ever say, well,
Right.
I want this to happen. We did exactly what my mother wanted. We did exactly what my dad wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The same with Daniel's parents. His mother wanted to be buried in a cardboard box. She didn't want any extra money spent on it. And by golly, when we went in there for her, we lifted up all the tapestry that was in the box or in the casket, and it was a cardboard. It was that thick corrugated, but it was cardboard.
Right.
And I was there with Daniel and his sister and her husband, the four of us. And here we are looking at his mother, inappropriately giggling because she's literally in a cardboard box. And
Right.
um, it was exactly what she wanted. And I will always have that memory. She was an amazing woman.
Mm-hmm.
But we did what she wanted to do.
Right. Right. And, I also think about the services and how, the service really isn't for the person who died.
Right,
It's really
right.
for the people that are left
Who's, yes,
behind.
yes,
Um, and I think sometimes that's lost. I think that
yes.
I always feel like, okay, the person who died doesn't really care if I'm at the service or not, but the people who were left do,
Yes.
and they need people. Although I will say, I do have photos. I had a professional photographer, my friend Katie, who did an amazing job of photos at Henry's service. Um, so I do have some photos. Without that, I
Right.
would have no idea who was there
It,
because I was
I,
in a fog. Even though
right.
Henry's service was a month later, Henry
Yes,
died during
Daniel's,
COVID,
yeah,
so everything was kind of weird. So it was a month later, but I was still in so much of a fog. I don't
right.
remember.
I remember standing, yeah, it's hit and miss, right? I
And
will
and
tell
I didn't.
you,
Oh, go ahead.
oh no, this had nothing to do with anything. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I didn't attend Daniel's
No,
celebration of life because I couldn't do it.
no.
Because
And
I was too,
I,
it was
right,
my loss was too fresh still.
right, right. And that I 100% respect and understand that.
Hmm.
Um,
And I think we talked about it. I'm not 100% sure.
you know
I
what? I
think we
can't
talked about it at the time.
we probably did. Um, but if it and you weren't close to Daniel.
I was
I
not, but
think
I knew him for
right.
decades, but I wasn't
Eh,
close to him. And I think I said to you, I think we talked about like, I'm going to come down there at some point
right.
to spend time with you,
Yes.
but I, I can't do this right now.
And that is totally understandable. I think that makes sense. I think that for me, I knew I had your support. It didn't matter when it was. And
Right.
I had so much support at that celebration for him that I didn't need you there, Betsy. I didn't need you.
Exactly. What I was going to say back then too, I didn't know now I know your friends, your
Yes,
non, or
yes.
your friends who are not my college friends, like your friends who aren't my
But they
friends,
ask
if
about
that
you all
makes
the
sense.
time. Yep,
Right.
they
So I
do.
know them now. So had an event happen now, I would go because
You
I,
would.
right.
Yes,
Because it's totally, it's different now because I'm kind of,
yes,
I'm not really a part of that group, but I'm adjacent.
yes. Well, and this is a total squirrel moment too, but I absolutely loved when my different friend groups got together and
Oh
everybody
yeah.
liked each other. Everybody, like, I still know my friend Amanda one day was talking to me when we were attending another service, and she was had some things going on. And I had told her earlier in the week, you should text my sister Sarah because Sarah's dealt with this before. So while Amanda and I were sitting talking, she said, well, I text your sister the other day. And I went, what? Like, I got
You'd
jealous.
forgotten.
I'd forgotten I told her to text her, and I'm like, you were talking to Sarah without me? Like, y'all did something and I wasn't included. And then I was so embarrassed that I had that moment of, it wasn't a jealousy so much. I think it was I felt like I got left out of something.
Uh-huh.
And it was that
It was a
flash on my
FOMO.
face,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a total FOMO, and she saw it on my face. And then I was so embarrassed, and we're still laughing about it. That happened, what, year and a half ago. But I realized that when you have good groups of friends, of course they're all going to get along. And that was a really neat thing. It just sort of made the circle stronger.
That same thing happened to me after Henry died. We had so he was his ashes were put in the columbarium in one event, and then we had the big that was only allowed to be 30 people because of COVID. Then we had the
Right,
big event 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later. And that was big, like over 200 people in an outdoor venue. And so between the two events and then this organizing food for me and things like that, my friend groups also all merged and
right,
combined. And I was like, it kind of takes you back a little at first because you're like, oh,
right.
now we have no separation.
Right.
But it ends up being like the coolest thing because
Yes,
I've had some dating experiences and we won't go into all of that, but one of them was kind of a crazy event where I ended up in
yes.
Mexico in a difficult situation. And I had a group of like 6 different friends were like, you've got to keep texting me while you're there so I know you're okay. And so they're from all my different friend groups, but then they also all like then combined in their, like advocacy for me in Mexico. Now, everyone else is more traumatized by this crazy event than I was. Um,
Yes,
yes. So, but it's funny how, because like, if Henry wouldn't have died, all these
right,
people would have never known each other, right? Or
right,
known about each other. But
right,
Henry's death brought all those people together from all these different facets of my life.
right.
And that
And
is
yes,
that's a cool thing.
and we all can help each other. I love
Right.
when, and different people will say this, hey, text your Jack group and see what they have to say about this.
Yeah.
And eh, text, ask so and so what they think. And I love, in fact, I was dealing with a situation and my sister said, well, what does Amanda think? And I'm like, well, let me ask her. And I know if I've got something going on in my life, if Amanda and Sarah are on the same page, I need to listen to them because
Uh-huh.
they're looking at it from a different, they, unless they're texting behind the scenes and I don't know they're texting each other to say, hey, can we gang up on her on this? I don't know how often that goes on, but
Right. I think
um
that went on a little bit with me when I was in Mexico.
okay, well then can I get on those because I wasn't in on those groups. Um
You
and
were you were not like overly concerned about my well-being. You might have not even known I was going, actually, now that I think
Yes, I
about
did know you were going,
it.
and
Oh,
I
okay.
was concerned, but I
But you
also
trusted
knew,
me
well,
to
here's what
make
I
a good
knew. Here's what
decision.
I knew. I knew that you weren't on a cruise ship, so he couldn't throw you overboard. I knew that you weren't going to go off, oh, let's see, this thing is not going well. Let us go on some sort of pyramid tour or
Or a
sketchy
deep sea fishing
jungle
trip.
or deep sea
Right.
fishing. And then Betsy mysteriously never comes back. Oh, let's go scuba diving. And she
Yeah.
never comes back. Like I knew you weren't going to do anything like that. And I think you have good interaction with people. So anyone at the resort you were at, you would have said, "Hey, I'm done," which you did,
which which as it turns
right?
out, I met a whole new friend there, who she gave me moral support, and her husband,
Right. Right.
and then all of the resort staff were 100% on my side. So
Right.
yeah. But but all those people coming together, you realize, I think one of the beauties around death of a loved one or grief, or which however you want to talk about it, is finding out what your support network is really like. And
Yes.
sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's bad. I mean, there are definitely um situations where you feel like you lose some friends, especially as you move forward in ways that maybe they wished you wouldn't have
It
moved forward in.
it's an
But there
extremely, yeah.
there's also so much love.
Well, it's an extremely stressful situation. Weddings and funerals bring out the best and the worst in people. And
Hmm.
I was able to see with Daniel's death the amazing support and the amazing um, how people came together. But there were a couple of here and there's that were kind of ugly and sad. And and I think I already knew those situations were going to be difficult. That a little bit for me was the final straw of, okay, I'm going to have to put some distance between these people and myself because it's not healthy for me. And we're just going to
Right.
have to agree to disagree. And I can still love you, but I'm going to have to love you from afar because my peace is more important than the toxicity that we continue to have together. And that was big for me. Um,
Yeah. I also think that when you are going through a big loss and grief, you start looking at your life very differently.
yes,
I try to have a lot of um sympathy, empathy for people who are struggling with whatever they're struggling with. But there are times where I'm just like, oh my goodness, get a grip. You know, everyone is
yes,
still alive in this situation. Really, it could be
right.
much worse. I had that a situation when I went golfing with this friend of mine who I met on a cruise, and she was on the cruise with one of her friends, and they added me on to their group. It was so amazing. And then I don't know, a year 18 months later, I went to play golf with her. And we were playing in a foursome. She and I were in a golf cart, and then these two friends of hers were in the other one. And this one woman was having a really bad golf game. And I know people get very emotional about golf. I'm just like,
Yes,
whatever. I mean, it is what it is, right? You try to do
right,
well, and um you may not. And you may do well one day and terrible the next day.
right.
And this woman it was like her whole identity was in her golf game, and she was getting more and more upset on each hole. And I was actually doing a little better than her, which was probably not helping because I'm like not really a golfer. Like I've taken some
Right,
lessons and I try,
right.
but it's certainly not my identity. And but she was just falling apart
Come
because
here,
she was so
come here.
stressed out over it.
Hmm.
And she at one point threw her club and she started crying. And I was like, I, you know, I'm gonna just go back to the golf cart now. And I
That's
got
a
back to the
little,
golf
yeah,
cart,
that's,
and I told my friend, I'm like, look, I know she's upset about this, but
Right.
my child died.
Right.
And and I'm handling it better than she's handling this bad golf game. And
Right.
so there are times when I'm not so super proud of that about myself, but there are times when I'm just
Right.
like, get a grip. This
Right.
is not a big deal.
Yes.
So we see
Yeah,
the
yes,
perspective is different now.
it is. I sometimes it's like I don't understand why you're upset. My husband died. I'm having to navigate
Right.
life on my own. You have, while they may not be a great husband, you still have a husband that's helping you with all of this stuff. I don't have that
Right.
anymore. Get over yourself. Now, that's in our
Right.
shallower moments, right? Like when we're being
Right.
a little bit
Exactly.
selfish and yes, but I think that's a reality that we all feel that sometimes. So,
Yes.
but
Yes.
but even without the loss and the grief, sometimes you and I both are that way. I think I'm not going to complain about the same problem forever. If I'm not going to fix it, I need to
Right.
let it go. Uh,
We are very
Right?
much alike in that way.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So you and I don't have the same complaints all the time.
Right.
We move on to new ones.
Yeah.
We find new ones
Move
and
on to new things to be
well, and
worried about, stressed out about,
we
complain
we
about.
figure out how to manage what we have to do. We figure out an answer. Um, like we figure stuff out and move forward. Well, we still have the grief and we still have the hurt. So like I don't ever want anyone to think that we're we're so strong, we just brush it aside and we're fine.
Right.
That's not what it is. We just find a way to keep going. I don't know, you call that grit? We talk, we talk a lot about grit. Do we have grit? Is that what we're doing? It's a weird word, but
Yeah, I mean, I think we have grit, but I think we also have so much support from friends, from our
yeah,
therapists that we've, given a shout out to before, um, from our belief system and our faiths, whatever that may be, from our sweet
right,
pets, from, from all the rest of our lives. I think being able to, that's to me, that's the true gift is being able to take the support that you have and all the good things in your life
right,
and appreciate that and also use that to help propel
right.
yourself forward.
Because I have a perfectly imperfect life. I'm dealing with stuff, like I've said before, it's could it be worse? Okay, we're just going to say things are going to get better because
Right.
every once in a while it does get worse. And then you just say, okay, well, am I going to let this keep me down or I'm going to get back up and keep going? And
Right.
I always get back up and keep going. Um, I mean, there might be dirt on my face or egg on my face, who knows? But I'm going to own it and find a
Keep
silver
going.
lining.
Yes. Yes. When I first started, after I got divorced and I started dating, the first man that I dated said to me, "You've been through so much and I don't want ever to hurt you." And I said, "Okay, not to diminish you, but my child died.
Right,
I have been through one of the worst things anybody can
right,
ever live through. Whatever you do is not going to reach that level
right,
of hurt. Um, and you have to let me continue to live my life. I can't be put in bubble wrap in a
right,
way that I never get hurt again. That's not really living."
right. And our capacity for love is amazing. And I don't want to stop loving because I've lost someone. I want
Right.
to keep moving forward and keep loving and I don't have as many wonderful people around me as I can. Um,
Now, I had a hard time because the people that I already know, I didn't have a problem continuing relationships with. But as I did start dating and making new friends, I had some time moments where I had to talk to Guy, my therapist, about being able to open my heart to new people that I was going to lose. Because
right,
ultimately, either we lose the person either through their death or breaking up if it's a romantic relationship or the loss of a friendship or someone moving away, or they lose
Right.
us. It gets the only way things happen.
Right.
And I had to really, I had to really work through that. The thought of I could lose another person that's important to me. And like I said, I always, because I'm pretty pragmatic. So I always was like, okay, well, the people I already love, I can't do anything about them. So I can
Right.
continue loving them, but can I bring new people in that I'm going to love and I'm going to lose?
And
And
that's
that
tough.
was hard.
And
That was a big moment of growth for me.
um I don't think I had as much trouble doing it, but I had trouble verbalizing it. And I'm like, I'm going to say, I love you and I want to be around you. And if something happens and we take separate paths, I will have loved every moment that we've spent together. And
Hmm.
that has helped me moving forward with this dating relationship because I mean, I don't know what's going to happen a year from now. I don't know,
Right.
but
We
I
never know.
know
It's,
yeah, I know where I am right now and I know I'm happy and I know that everything that has happened to me up to this point has led me right here. So
yes,
I, I'm going to take that and be happy with it. Um,
absolutely. Because we have to keep loving.
yes. And I'm so much better when I'm happy.
Yes. Yes. And
Nobody
on
wants to
that
be around
note,
me. Nobody wants to be around me when I'm not happy.
on that note, we're going to stop. We're going to end this episode so we can stay in our somewhat 30-minute time frame.
Okay.
So, because Katherine and I can go on forever. So,
Yes.
thank y'all so much for joining us today on Grateful Grieving. And please follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, Grateful Grieving. And we will see you very soon.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.